Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate for your time. And this is the session number 15 that we are going to start tonight. And it is more related about the some part which we already covered, but we will look into the deep dive session of the development. So Mr. Wahaj, he will try to explain each and every aspect of the development. And along with it, I will also explain you a kind of the revolution it's being or evolution is going to be happen for the solution development. So there is a, you can say, complete update process is there. So Microsoft has changed the practices. So first we will look into the first part, which is solution evolution, and then we will look into the development basic recap, which is going to be covered by Mr. Wahaj. Before we are going to proceed, just like housekeeping, and if you have any question, please feel free to ask the question, or even you can unmute yourself by the time you speak. And really appreciate for your time and the cooperation. Just like a note here for Q&A section, if you have any question, then you can fill it out, or you can post the question in Q&A section, or even though you can also use the chat. Related to our content sharing, all of our previously recorded sessions, they are available on our YouTube channel, as well as the presentations, they are available on OneDrive folder. As I mentioned earlier, related to the topic, we are going to cover the first part, which is related to the dynamic solution evaluation. So just like a 5 to 10 minutes talk that I'm going to present you, and then the recap and the practice of the development basics, which is you can say the continuing session from the previous. So related to the solution evaluation means how the solution is moved here. Previously from, you can say, CRM 2011, then there was a change happen in 13, 15, 16. And now in 16, the classic version is going to be transformed in a new unified interface, which you can consider it as a, you can say, PowerS. Now all the development is going to be converted or transformed in the PowerS mode. So how it looks like, because most of the people who are working currently, they are using the classic interface, but eventually after some time, or even for the comprehensive development, we are doing the development on the Power solution. But although for the on-prem solution, as well as the for the legacy compatibility, classic version is being also in use. So before we are going to proceed, let me just show you how the things move on, or how the things looks like in the classic as well as in the unified interface here. So there is a one interface I'm going to display you here, which is on-prem environment, on-prem CRM environment, and this environment is 9.1 version, even though it's a upgraded version of CRM 2016. So, same way, there is no change. Only the difference comes here about the interface, as well as there's also features are embedded in terms of the assistant is now available on the new version, as well as GUI is very comprehensive, and you will see a lot of other features. But although the development basics and other stuff is almost same as we did in 2016. So if you want to use, or if you are using CRM 2016 or even earlier version, what interface that you are going to see it here, this is the interface that you are going to see as a legacy environment. And in the legacy environment, whatever the things that you need to do the customization, let's say in terms of the solution management, in terms of managing all kind of the configuration, you normally use this particular interface, which is the classic interface. Now it's also available, means currently it's also available on the online version, but although with the passage of time, Microsoft is transforming all of the elements into the new interface. So most probably in the near future, this particular settings will not be available, but it will be a part of the unified operation. So let's take an example that if you want to manage any solution in the older version, you have to come here in the solution, and all of the solution will come here, whatever the solution are implemented, or you can say configured here. So you can see all of the solution, whatever the solution you have implemented, or you can say deployed. Either these are the solution are the system one or the custom one. You are going to see it here, and the interface how it looks like. It looks like In a classic way, we are going to see all of the components with the, you can say, different label based on the category of that particular component that you are working. So let's say you are working on entities now, it's renamed into the tables. So all the tables, all entities are listed here. Option set, extensions, web resources, processes, mean whatever the workflows that you have configured, plugin assembly. So all of the settings will come under the components here by the time that you are going to use the classic one. Similar way, you all have also option that you can have this extension, or you can say this interface on your online instance. So for the online instance, I'm just jumping here for my online environment. And from here, if you want to navigate, you can navigate from here to advanced setting. So it will open up a classic interface for you to do the development or to do the configuration, whatever you need it. So you can do the settings from here. As we are using the online, so it may take a little bit of time to open it here. But in the meanwhile, how it looked like in the new interface, as Mr. Wahad, he explained earlier very well, that everything comes here and then the Power Apps here. So you would require to open up here now make.powerapps.com, and from there you would require to select the environment, which environment that you are going to use. Environment means the organization that you are going to work on it. So might be possible you have a different or a multiple types of the organizations are available. So it could be development, SIT, UAT, production. So it could be depend on the scenario that you are working. So you will see all kind of environment that you have the provision, and you would require to just select the appropriate one. And from here, you will see all kind of the solution, whatever is they are deployed. So as we are working on the online instance, you can see the multiple versions or multiple types of the solution. Either it is the system one, Microsoft provided, or the custom one, which we have built. And again, this particular environment, it contains all of the required components, whatever the objects that you are working, it will list down there. Means either you are working on the tables, workflow, processes, flows, even there are more extensions they are available. So you can see more extensions which are still not available in our classic. Let's take example of AI model. They are not available. You can say effectively. Then you have the automation, which is again Power Automate part, which is not available in the on-prem version, but it's available for online, and it's only available within the Power Apps here. But there are some components available, let's say the report, dashboards, security features, tables, business rules. So these are also, you can say, available there in the classic, but in a different manner. So let me just open the previous screen, which I showed you. So this one, this particular screen, it shows you all of the classic setting that you are going to have it. So this particular interface is going to be transformed in a newer version. So we are going to highlight, you can say highly recommend you to use the PowerS one, but sometime it may require to do the configuration, you have to take the legacy or classic environment. Let's take example of updating the status and status reason. If you want to add some more status reason, still you have to navigate to the classic interface from where you can add some, you can say, or you can say do the configuration on the status. But on the PowerS, you don't have the provision. But again, Microsoft is working on it. As soon as the feature is available, it will be available here on this environment. So this is it from my side. I will request Wahaj if he can continue from here and we can proceed with the development part. Yes, Wahaj.
Sure. Will share my screen. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so you guys can see my screen now.
Yes.
Okay, last time I'll just quickly recap again. So last time, we talked about solutions. With solutions, we have components like tables, fields, relationships, forms, views, dashboards, processes, and lot more. Okay. So again, well, I'll just keep it short because once these are too many things to digest. So what I will do is one by one. Once we cover each of the aspect, you will understand it better. Okay. So you remember we just did one scenario, which was like we needed to add a text field called dunce number, and based on the also one date field, and we also added a business rule just to show the dunce number when the flag register with DNB is set to yes. Otherwise, it is, I guess, height. Okay, so this was scenario one. So I'll just move to the scenario two because we want to recap, but we'll just take it further this time. So the scenario two is marketing team members need to segment customers based on tiers and amount spent. So this means they want to segregate customers based on the special tiers or amount they have spent so far, right? And so what why they want to do this will help them approach the customer. Marketing people to they can approach the customer based on their tier, and they can define better promotions and offers based on that. Okay, so what is the use case or what are the use cases? User must be able to assign one of the following ratings to a customer, which is top purchaser, frequent buyer, or maybe inactive because he's not buying. Or other is select a tier from one of the following, which is gold, silver, and platinum. Okay, so on the high level, the solution design is what we'll do is we'll add following fields. We'll add a rating and a tier. Okay, so this is very clear that we can go on and simply create two type of fields which are known as option sets, two fields of same type option sets, and add it to the form. Okay, one thing is rating will add as a multi-select option and tier will add as a uh, option where you can only select one value. So let's again get to the system and we'll see it. Just give me a second there. 1 second. Yes, okay. I'll just grab my screens here, and here we are. Okay, so I hope everyone remembers that Adnan also showed you the Power Apps and where we make.powerapps.com or Power Apps Studio or Power Apps Creator. There are multiple names to this portal where you go and choose a particular environment, and then you can start developing applications or modifying or customizing your existing applications. So first thing we'll do is first we'll create a solution again. So because it's a recap, that's why I'm doing all these steps. So what I'll do is I'll create a new solution. I'll create and you know uh, name it customer tiers maybe. Okay. Publishers, last time explained that this is a unique vendor which you can define in the system. So based on that, the fields and properties will be uh, prefixed based on the settings you have done here. And other benefit is once you export the solution, you will be easily able to identify who distributed this particular solution when especially when you're working in a multi-vendor or multi-team environment. So this is very helpful. Okay. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and create the solution. Okay. Once we create the solution will be totally empty. There will be nothing. Okay. So now what we need to do, anyone can point me to the direction because the as per the use case, we need to add two fields in the customer. So what will happen? The marketing team can assign customer a specific tier and a specific rating on their buying trend. So anyone can guide me like what should I do here? If anyone from the last session would like to tell me, or should I continue? Feel free to unmute your mics and just guess. Okay, I'll just continue. It's okay.
I think better to
So,
start.
yeah,
Everyone has
that's okay.
forgot.
Okay, so first thing first, we need anything that you want to do starts most if you are adding any field, modifying a table or anything, definitely you first need to add a table. So table components must be added. So I'll go here because this is the existing table. Today we'll do a new table also, but for now, let's go ahead and select a table. We clicked on add existing, not the new, because new will allow you to create a new one. Okay, so we are in this example, we are taking account as a customer. So I click account, I go ahead and click next. Now I will only include the components or sub components for the account table that I need. So I'll click here. First thing first, I need the forms we are working with. I know I'm working with the account form, but you can work on you can add multiple accounts also. Okay. Then that's all for now, because I don't need any column here specifically for this scenario. So I'll skip it. I'll just select the form. I'll say, or let's do one thing. I'll go to the views and I also add the active accounts view, and maybe all accounts also and active accounts also. Okay. So I'll say add. Okay, now once I click on add, so what will happen behind the scenes, it will add the table to your solution with only these three components. So, or you could say sub components. So once I come to tables now, just give it a minute. Yeah. Okay, I go here. You will see I will have only three sub components in the account uh, table. Just give it a second. Okay, so there is no column. We'll have two views and one form. Okay, let's say you want to add any other thing, uh, you can do that. Let's say one of our customer sales members said they complained that they need to increase the length of the dunce number that we already added, right? So we can do that. What we can do is we can click here, add column, not sorry, add subcomponents. And if I search for the dunce number, I can select it, I can add it. This is just for example. Of course, it makes more sense to add it to modify the existing solution we have, but I'm just giving you an example. If you want to, you can do that. So now I can go ahead and update the length to maybe 100. Sorry, and done. Okay, I'll just, before I save, let us add more columns also. So as per our scenario, we wanted to add, yeah, one field called uh, rating. Sorry, my bad. Rating. Okay. The type will be, as per our scenario, this will be choice. So there are two kind of choice. One is choice, another is choices. Choices means you can select, it's a drop down actually, both of them. But in choices you can select multiple values, but in choice you can only choose one value. So let's choose choices here as per our scenario, because we can define multiple. Okay, as soon as you do choices, you have two options. One, you can go ahead and add a new option as a global, or the other is you can there are two kind of choices. One is global option sets or global choices, another is locally, which is local to your solution. So what's the difference? The global one will allow you to reuse the same choices in another entity or table. For example, you add countries as a choices, right? So what you can do is, because country is a field which can be used maybe in the account, in contact, or anywhere where there is an address, right? So what you can do is you can reuse it. Instead of creating it again and again, you can just add in global options and then you can use it. Okay. So I'll go ahead and instead of choosing a global option for now, because this doesn't require that, I can create a new choice. Okay. So I will give them some options like top purchaser. Then I can say frequent buyer, and then I can say inactive. I'll save it. And we can go to advanced option, and again the same properties which are there for most of the uh, uh, columns, which will be here also, which I explained in the last session. So for now, yeah, I'll just go ahead and click say done. Next thing, let's go to the forms. I'll go to the account form. Okay, yes, that's also one good important thing. Once you add any new fields or do any changes to the existing fields, you need to save the table before you can add it to any visual component. So what are our visual components? Views, forms, or dashboards, or even in the business rules you cannot use them. That makes sense because table is still not created, so you cannot use it in any of the views, forms, or dashboards or rules, or in any chart. Okay. Okay, now let me go to the forms. First, let me add it to the form.
Yes,
Okay.
hi, sir. Haj, can you hear me? I
Yeah,
just need to raise a question here. In the
good.
last session, you just told that once you created the table and you added each and everything regarding this, then you cannot delete it. So in the case, for example, if we need to make any change, can we make?
No, what you can't what we can't delete it. I think there's a
Uh,
confusion.
I think you just told about the table that if you create a table, then you cannot delete it.
No, 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 it's not like that. You can delete the table, but you cannot delete the system table. So there are multiple layers of the components. The first one is known as system tables. So the system
Right.
tables are something which are provided by Microsoft as soon as you get an instance of Dynamics 365 or Dataverse. So these tables you cannot delete. Okay. So these are known
Right.
as system. Then there is the next level known as managed. This again can be from Microsoft or any other third party solution provider who has selected the table or a column as managed. So that also you cannot delete or modify. Okay, that second level. The third level is custom, which you are doing it, right? You can definitely go ahead and delete those components. But of course, there are some restrictions. Let's say if your table is being used as a relationship in other table, there will be dependencies. You need to make sure all the dependencies are removed before you remove the main object. So for example, this formation date, right? We added last time. I
Right.
cannot go ahead and delete this from the columns list. Why? Because this is added to the form. This is used in one component. So what I need to do it first, remove it from all the forms and views, and then I can go ahead and delete it. So you can delete, but only wherever you are allowed to delete. Okay.
Right. And can you please, I think you just brief, but I just missed that part. That what is when we are going to add the column and when we are going to add subcomponent.
Okay, component are okay. So if you want to modify any existing component, whether it's a column or a dashboard or a chart or a form, you will go and select that existing component. So what we did, this dance number field was already created. We cannot create it again, right? So what we
Yeah,
did, we
that's right.
added it as a subcomponent because it was existing. So anything new you will add. Anything existing you will choose add subcomponent option.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'll go ahead and do custom. I created this field. Let's add it here for now. Okay. Yeah, it's added. I will just save. Just 1 second. Okay. Now I will publish it. No, before I publish it, we need to add one more column, right? Okay, let's do one thing actually. Let us publish and see the changes. This table, I want to add another column. Okay, so Adnan, one suggestion from you. Do you want me to, do you think we should show them the legacy interface here also? Just to add another column, just to show them that it's the same thing, but
Hmm?
the interface is different.
Yes, we can add.
Okay,
So should I?
so
Or
guys, you
you
see,
have
we
the
did
option, right?
here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have the option, no issues. So you see, this is one way to add the column. I just don't want to confuse yourself, yours guys. But if you see it anywhere, you should know that it's not a rocket science. So if I go here, another way is once you're logged into the Dynamics 365 environment or any application, you click on this gear icon and you go to advanced settings. Okay, this will take a while to load. That happens sometime. But here from here also you can do the similar customizations, but it, as Anand told you, it's a legacy interface. So what I'm going to do is similarly that we did here, we added one column and all these components. We'll add the other column from our scenario, which is tier from the legacy interface. So what we'll go is do is we go here settings. You see customization solutions. So it's the same thing. You can go to solutions. There also we have solutions. Okay, the same solution that we created there is here also, because it's just a different interface. Everything else is same. It's just a new interface there. This is the legacy interface. If I go ahead and open this one, this opens in a new window instead of, so new, the new one looks, more what should I say, yeah, it's new, it's more modern, okay. So here instead of tables they call it entities, and you can expand. This is the things we added here. Also you can go ahead and add existing components that we did there. Same way you can add new components, right? So in the account entity we go to the fields, which is known as columns there. Same thing, just the terminologies are a bit old. So I just wanted to know this, so you don't get, yeah, if you see it ever, you know it's the same thing. It's not a rocket science. So I can go ahead and new. Again, the form, even adding attribute windows will look different, but it has the same properties. It will have name, it will have requirement level, display name, length, type, so on. So let it load. So one good feature in the new interface is you can add all the columns in one row and then go ahead and easily save table. Here it's like you add one by one and then save and publish. So yes, there are some new improvements. Anyways, I'll call it the tier. We'll make it, make it business required because we want this. So this means this should be filled when you are saving or creating a record. So type, I will go ahead and select instead of multi. There, it was known as choices. Here it is known as multi-select option, but behind the scene is totally same. So the option set is known as choice there. So I'll go ahead and choose this option. Similar there, we can add and go ahead and add our options here. I can say silver. I can say gold, and then platinum, right? These values, you remember we set this one in the options, our publisher configuration, but if we want, we can go ahead and override it. I don't recommend it. I say whatever is solution default that should be there, but just to show you, we can do this. We can say this is one. So what does this value means? So this means the user will see silver, gold, platinum, but on the database side, the value will be saved as 123. Whenever I change it, it gives me a warning. Why? Because Microsoft says you should stick with your solution configuration, because if someone else imports the options with the same values, it will be overridden. That's why. Okay. So here I'll just make it 3. So in the database reporting, it will be shown as, I mean, on the back end, it will be always 3. So that's how we play with the option drop downs also, right? Any drop down is like that. There is a label, there is a integer value behind the scenes for programmatical access. Okay, I'll just do save and close. So point is, in both of the scenes, you don't have to write the code. Similarly, the forms, if I go to the form, you will see it has similar interface. Of course, I mean the interface will be different, but the similar options will be there. So you can use whatever you like, but as Nan suggested, we should stick to the modern, because Microsoft will definitely sooner is gonna remove this legacy interface and we will be there on the new one. But I guess Nan's suggestion is right. We should at least show you some flavor of the old also, because this one is still pretty much used. If you are not working on the latest or cloud version, you will have to work on this interface only. Okay, will take a while. Okay, I can show you this, but come on. Okay, we got it. So similarly, right there, if I just for your easy comparison, if I go here, you see here, if I go to forms and click on account, in the modern interface, you will see it's properly previewed in sections, and this is a tree view that you get. Then the form looks more modern, right? Oh, by the way, if I click to switch to classic, it will open up the same like this. So it has again the same options, just a field explorer is on the right side. The tree is here in a smaller format and doesn't show the section names, only tabs are being shown. So that's how it is. Again, I can go ahead and custom, I can say tier, I can drag the tier here. Similarly, there we did save, here also we'll do save, and we can do publish here. But instead of publish, I'll publish the whole solution because we also added the fields. So everything is shown here. Like in the modern interface, if I go to solution, I will have publish option, publish all customizations. Here also same. I'll just click on the information here and publish all customization. Both will do the same thing. So let it publish and we'll see that we've added two more fields. Just give it a second. Okay, meanwhile, this is publishing. I just want to show you a few more things here. Okay, we'll do one more thing here before it's published. You see, okay, I believe you, no, I hope that you remember that we have something called views. So for each table, we have views which can be selected from the view selector like this. Okay, you see we have these are the again there will be some system views that you cannot delete, but most of them can be modified. I mean, you can add more columns but you cannot delete. So whenever you create a new table, some default views will be created known as my whatever is a table name, my active whatever, active, then all, and sometimes so for inactive will be there definitely. So you can add more views, you can update system views also. Then there are some other kind of views also that we'll see. Okay. So it's published. We'll just refresh it and then we'll come back to the views and finish the views. Everything about the views and then forms. Okay. So if I go to the account now, okay, it's not published for some reason. Let me go ahead and double check if it is there and publish it again. Sometimes this could happen.
Yes, sometimes happens that it doesn't update in the cache, or there's something
Yeah.
stuck.
So there could be multiple issues.
Yeah, or
One
you can
I'll
do
do
one
is I'll control
control
F5.
F5. Yes.
Yes. So control F5 will definitely, clear the cache for this page and then load it. Let's see. I guess we have it now. Wow. Okay. So see the difference. First difference is you see a small star here, red color, which means you cannot save this record now until you provide this value. If I go ahead and do this, it says required field must be filled in. So I go ahead and select this is my gold customer and then I save it. It should work. Okay, great. Then you can see that this was choices, not the choice, or you could say multi-select option set. So here I can go ahead and choose multiple options. For example, I say this guy is a top purchaser also, and he's a frequent buyer also, right? So I can save. Okay, now let's do one thing. So on the form, you see these we have, first of all, we can have multiple forms for any table. You see, we have one or more forms, so each form will look different. So why we have multiple forms? First, to support different kind of functionalities or to serve different kind of persons or users. For example, you can have different uh, form for a different business, or for example for different team, like sales can have different form, marketing can have different form. If account people are looking into credit limits of your customer, they can have a very minimal information instead of having all the sales related information. So these kind of things we can control by having multiple forms. Okay. Now each form has some subcomponents in it. So first component or the most high level in the tree is known as tabs. We have summary detail. These are just sample tabs, or I mean default tabs, which are available in this form. You can name them any, and you can add multiple tabs as per your design requirement. The last one, related, is added automatically. If your entity has any relations, you will see it. So this shows all the child records to this table. This is a default system behavior. You can show what you can change the behavior, what should be shown here, and you can also change the order, but it will be there. Okay. Under each tab, you have sections. Each of this square or block is a section. Okay. So each section can have multiple fields. This is how you divide your layout of the form. So you have tabs, you have sections, and the sections will have fields or controls. Okay. Why is the fields of controls? These are fields. You all of these where I will put my purse here. The timeline is a special kind of control which shows timeline for this record. So all of your emails related to this entity or table, all of your posts or any activity which you had configured will come in the timeline. This is a out of the box control which is available. You can add or remove this control, that's up to you. Then for example, assistant here also is a special control which works on based on Microsoft's AI based assistant, which helps user to accelerate the sales process, right? Then there is something called subgrid where you can show child records here also. uh, okay. Then so this is the basic layout of the form. So let's say in our current scenario, what we say, marketing people say, we see a lot of stuff here. What we need is very simple. We want the account name, his basic phone and email information, right? And what is its rating and tier. That's it. We don't want to see anything else, right? So what we can do is we can go ahead and create a new form for them. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll go back to our solutions. Now let's stick to the modern solution. Okay, modern, sorry, interface. I'll go ahead and go into the account table. Okay, now we have two ways to do this. Okay, I'll go ahead in the forms. I can make a copy of any other form. So why we do this? This saves us a lot of effort. So let's say if I want to create a similar copy of the form, let's say I just want another form, a simplified version without timeline, but the rest of the controls and feeds looks okay. So I'll save it as a copy. I'll go ahead and remove the only this option and publish it. It's much less effort, right? So you see we have an option here called save as. So if I go ahead and save as and say account simplified, I can change the description so it is more meaningful, right? So what it will do behind the scenes, it will create another form and then copy all of the layout, existing layout from this form. Then we can go ahead and update the copy of the new form that we got it, and play with it. So as a suggestion, if you want to do any changes, uh, dramatic changes, I would say it's always better to uh, keep this system form and make a copy of it. But again, that depends on your choice. It's not required. It's, I mean, up to your practice. Okay, so we got this new form. Okay, this is known as new account, or sorry, account simplified. Okay, now I can go ahead and do if any changes I want to do. I can change the width and things like that. But what we'll do is, first of all, because the name suggests this is simplified. Okay, one more important thing. Every form has a header and a footer. So this part which is highlighted right now, I'll just zoom it a bit so you can see it. No, sorry. Okay, I'll just zoom it from here. Yes. So this one is known as header. This one is footer. You can add fields to header and footer also, and rest is your main body form, which is here shown in the tabs and sections. Okay, so first thing we'll do is we can say, I don't want to see the annual revenue way or number of employees, it doesn't make sense. I can go ahead and click on the delete. It will simply delete the option, and I can choose any other field I want to show. For example, for me, the tier makes more sense. Okay, why don't you show the tier here? Okay, this is also important. If you don't see it, that means because we selected show only unused table columns. This we have used here, but if I uncheck it, this will again show up. So I can go ahead and add it to the here. I can go and change the orientation, right? I can do that. So this is how you manage the header. You can add more fields here also. Okay, then as we said, we wanted it very simplified. We don't need a timeline control here. Maybe I can go ahead and delete it. Okay, so this section becomes empty. Similarly, I don't need a assistant. I'm just playing with it, by the way, don't worry. Okay, primary contact looks fine. I can go ahead and pull this in from layout here, the done information. Just 1 second. Where did I throw it? Okay, there is always undo button here, don't worry. So I want it to, yeah, like this. Okay, now it will be there. Okay, this is an empty section. I can go ahead and remove it if I want to. I can move the address information here also, so the form is not that much long. Right now it looks very then simple. Similarly, let's say I don't use files, I don't want to remove it, I can go ahead and delete here the tab also. It's deleted. Okay. Okay, so this is how we make a copy and do changes to the form. This is one way. Okay, now I can save and publish. It will be available there as a new form in this drop down. Publish. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, if you do not see your changes, hold the control, then refresh or control F5. This will clear the cache and give you the latest changes. Okay, again, it's not there because I think I'm not, yeah, for any new component, you have to publish this full solution or at least the full table. Yeah. But after that, if you do any individual changes to any subcomponent like form or view, you can publish that individually also. So if I click on the table and let me actually publish this. Okay. So we have layouts. Sorry, in the layout we have tabs, we have sections, and we have individual controls in each section. Okay, the control could be a field that you can drag from the field explorer. It can be one of the special type of controls also that we will show you. And then there could be PCF controls also, Power Component Framework control also, which are more uh, interactive controls. Okay, let me refresh it now. And now I should see. Oh, I got it. Why we don't see it. Okay. Okay, guys. This is another thing we need to see. Okay. Apart from solutions, uh, we have something called apps. My apologies, I guess we should have covered this in the presentation also, but I thought it will be a bit more advanced, but I guess there is no point. There is no way out now. Okay, so like solutions has components, apps also has components. It's similar to solutions. Okay, so what's the difference? So the only difference is solution is more of your customized or new or existing components which you are packaging, right? Apps are again visualized applications, or this is modular applications where you select which of the components from each solution should show in the particular application. So if I come here and then see this sales hub is an application. If I click on this one, I will see all the available applications which are available. I can add more applications here. So again, for each department, I can create a different application. So they only have what is required there, right? So I can also uh, create this based on module or functionality that can also be possible. So there are multiple use cases to the application. So each application you choose which components you need to show in the this application. If so, what we can do is here I can go ahead and create any new app, or I can update any existing app, because we are working with sales app application. So I will go ahead and just modify this one. Creating a new application, it's a full topic that we'll cover in a next in upcoming sections sessions, because this is one of the, because you need to set up an app, you need to set up multiple things, the sitemap, I mean the navigation, everything you need to set from default, that nothing will be available for you. Okay, I can go ahead and click on edit. It's not again a rocket science, it's very simple. This is your sales hub app. All the components which are available in this app are selected here. The entities are being shown here. You can see, right? I can go ahead and search a canvas for special any entity, for example, order. It will show me that this is the order. Or as I said, I just want to add one component in the account. So any new component you will add, forms, views, or process flows, anything we'll see in this multiple sessions, you need to add it to the apps also, otherwise it will not be visible there. So once I click on the forms, by default it has selected all. I just need to make sure this is already selected, then why I don't see it. Okay, if you do not see this selected here, you need to make sure, in some cases you won't see all. In that case, you need to make sure account simplified is, or any new component is being selected here. That's it, it's nothing else. So you can see all the views are there, all the forms are there, that you need to make sure are there. Similarly, you will have charts, you will have dashboards. Whenever any component, you need to make sure that is selected there, you save it and then publish it. That's it. But that's not our issue for today. I guess it's not the issue, that's what I was wondering. Okay, I'll just close it, and I will see what's the actual issue then, why we don't see this form in our accounts entity. Okay, I'll go ahead and do another publish, and let's see. This is actually also a demo environment, so sometimes publishing and these kind of things take time. Ideally it should show. Okay, it's still publishing. Let's see. Okay, we have it. See, sometimes multiple publishing it takes. So once I click on it, so it is already there. Okay, cool, right? It's simple. Okay, now let's say our marketing team says, man, this is too much for me. I just want very simple form which will have few things only. Okay, we can do that. So what we'll do is we'll go to our table, we'll go to the forms, and we will add, first we copied the form, because we know we need very simple and we want to start from scratch. We can go ahead and say main form. Okay, we have four type of forms. The main form, this one that you see here, is a main form. Then we have quick view form. Quick view form is that shows you data from another table. For example, here this primary contact is parent to this account, it's a lookup to this account. Okay, here what we do is we use this quick view form to show email and business of the contact. So these fields are not on from this table, it is from a parent table. So any information you want to show from a parent table, you can use a quick view form. So that means contact has a quick view form that we have used in this component. Okay. Then we have quick create form. The quick create form, whenever this is called quick create, this small plus button. Once you click here and I say contact, you see this form, or actually let me go ahead and click on account. You see it will have very limited information because it's quick create, right? So this form can be modified or added. You can add a new quick create account form based on your needs. So that kind of form is known as quick create account. These these kind of forms will not be available in the main form. This is main form. Okay. Okay, and the card form. The card form is again a new kind of form which is shown in side some of the controls like timeline and some other controls as a card. It is very simple. It will show, for example, this AS and some two or three important fields like a card, like you have cards in your Outlook, contacts and things like that. So you can do that also. But again, for now, let's focus on the main form. So when we add a main form, it will be a pretty much blank canvas or blank form. It should have only one default, some sections, and header and footer will definitely will be there. Okay, so some of the basic information it created based on your typical account form. Okay, so again we can go ahead and play with this. I can say I don't need the address here, right? Sorry, one guys. Yes, it's removed. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. Timeline. I don't need. I don't need assistant or primary contact. Our these guys are only concerned that the form should have these basic information and maybe email also. We can go ahead and select email and drag it on top of the form. And then they want to only see the rating. So what we can do is I'll just remove it for now. So we can add a new section or we can because the existing section. First of all, this particular form has three columns, right? One, two, three, right? So I can go ahead and I can change that also. So I can change this summary tab to uh, sorry. I can change its type again in the layout. Yes, I can, because I don't need the third column, I can change it to two column. If I do this, you will have only two columns. If I click on the one column, it will be one column, right? I'll make it two column and I can also choose each of the columns length. For example, I can make it 60 and it will seems like, something like this and rest will be 40, right? So something like that you can do. You can play with it as per your visual or UI needs. You can do that. Okay. So I'll save it. Now, before we save it, I also need to add rating. I can, sorry, it's still saving, I guess. 1 second. Okay, we're back. Okay, so we will select the rating. Okay, we have the rating. We can go ahead and also add the tier that we want for our marketing people. And I can go ahead and label the section like segment. Yes, if I want to, I can also hide or show the label of the section. I can, overall, I can play with the section again. I can individual section can also be like two column if we want to. So now I can go ahead and show it like this if we want, right? But it makes sense for this example to be only one column. So you can set the formatting in terms of columns of a tab, which is this, and you can also do it based on uh, for individual sections also you can do. Okay, so I'll save. Okay, I'll publish after this. No, I think I need to change the name also of the form, because right now it will just, I think, default something like account main form or something, so we'll make it more readable. Okay, yes, so the form name is form settings. Okay, these are some form settings. I won't cover everything today because it will be again too much to digest. Okay, because just I open I just wanted to show this is where you control which form will be shown to which user or department, so that you can choose which security roles can you view this form. For example, marketing, I can assign this, so only marketing people will see. And if you have multiple forms, you can set the order which one will first or by default will show. Then if you user want, they can change it. I'll skip for now the form webs and access checkers for now. Okay, so this is how you create a copy of or a form for existing table. I'll just publish it. I think already did. I'm not sure if it is gonna reflect right now. It will take some time. Meanwhile, which is while it is being published, we'll cover some more aspects here on the form. Okay, do we have no? Let it publish. Let it work. I guess I need to go back. I have to. I'll just start the publishing and then we'll cover our another scenario. Just need 15 to 20 minutes more here. Okay, while it is like this, I want to go back, guys. Me go back. Okay, back to solutions. Yes. Customer tiers and publish. Okay, let it publish. So meanwhile, I'll do one thing. I'll pull up my presentation and show you one more scenario that we can do. Okay, so the scenario 3 is a bit more interesting, which says we are launching as a business, we are launching subscription plans where user can have buy a plan and they can avail some benefits. Okay, so what are the use cases? User must be able to define subscription plans with following data. So what is we want? First, user can create a list of plans where they can enter the plan name, the code, the description, effective date and expiry date, from that means the start or end date, and the status, and then some benefits, what kind of benefits user will achieve. Okay, then assign this plan to a particular customer. Okay, then we have a constraint that one customer can have only one active plan. Okay, fine. So solution design, it makes very simple sense that we create another table called subscription plan, and then we relate this plan with a particular customer. So we'll create a one to many or many to one actually relationship if we look from the account aspect. I'll explain this. Okay, so now let's quickly create a plan and sorry, not a plan, a new solution, a new table, so you will understand how we create a new table. I'll try to cover it as soon or as quick I can do. Okay, meanwhile let me see if this guy got published. I don't know. Okay, so I'll again start with the new solution because this is totally different functionality. So for me, it makes sense to create a different or a new solution. I'll call it uh, subscription. Okay, I'll go ahead and select my publisher. I'll let it create the solutions. Here we go. Okay, meanwhile, do we have, yes, this one. We did not rename it, sorry, but you get the sense. This looks like this. Very simple now, if I want. Okay, now, first of all, as per our design, we need one new table called plan. Okay, or subscription, whatever. So I'll go ahead and create new table. So we'll give a display name to the table, which is shown to the end user. So I'll call it a plan. Okay. Plural name plans make sense. User subscription plan assigned to individual customers. Okay. Okay, one important thing. If we click on the enable attachment, this will give us a special control which is known as timeline. Where I showed you the timeline. In the timelines, you can add notes. All of your activities are shown in the timeline. You can also upload files. If we want user to upload the files, we will select this option. But for this example, I don't seem this doesn't make any, or let's select it. Let's say if they want to add any useful flyers maybe or anything, they can do that. Okay, then there are some advanced options. So by default it will prefix it with our publisher prefix, which is d4d underscore plan. For me this will be the actual table name, or you should say actual SQL server table name. Okay, what is the type of the table? This is very important. There are three types of tables. I bet most of the time you will be creating the standard. What is standard? Standard table, as it the name states, is a normal table, which we saw as an account, contact, or any other table we see mostly. Okay. Then there is a special type called activity. Activity is something like email, phone call, any task, right? So when you create a table as activity, so system creates some default columns for you which are related to activity, like start date, end date, priority, which makes more sense like email or letter kind of things, right? So any activity you can create. You can create custom activities. Let's say if the system do not have by default SMS, you can do this. So each activity will have a completion status or completion time. So these kind of attributes by default will be added. So that's why it makes sense. Anything that you track as an activity, you should create as an activity table. It's just, a special type of table. Behind the scene, it will create a table only, right? But there's some complication I would like to highlight. So when you are selecting an activity, make sure you have the justification score. You cannot apply security on activity, which means you can control security on whole activity, which means if you want a user to see the emails but not the phone calls, that won't happen because both are activities. So again, if you want to, you can forget it for now. This is again later for the design stages. So mostly you will be using standard. Okay, virtual means if you want to show external data from any other system, you can create a virtual entity. Virtual entity means, that name suggests, there will be no data created or stored in Dataverse or Dynamics 365. It is just kind of a shell that will allow you to load data from other systems or real time. So you can connect it with an API, or you can write your own implementation that can connect to a database or API. So what will happen? It will automatically, whenever you want to, you can view this data inside the Dynamics 365, but this is not stored. Again, this is an advanced concept. Maybe we'll cover it sometime else. So I'll choose the standard for now. Okay. Then again, very important, user or team. Every record has an ownership. You see, whenever we create a record, we see an owner field like this. So if you select this option, your table will have owner fields. Owner you can select as a user or team. You can do that. Okay. That why we do this? That means this record is owned by me right now, or my colleague or particular team. So this helps us define the security. If you want to have department level or region level or business level security applied on a particular object, you need to select user or team, right? Otherwise, you cannot say like people from the Pakistan should not able to see records in the UAE. That kind of security on this table you cannot control. So you make sure you select user or team or organization if it is more of a master data, right? So again, in this example, I can actually, go ahead and create it as an organization table, which means it will won't have ownership fields because it's a plan. It is available maybe for everyone, but for sake of our example, I'll stick to the user or team. That's
Just a
again
one,
is
just a one opinion
yeah,
here, Wahaj,
yes.
for the audience, that record ownership scope, it should be defined at early stage, because once the entity is
Hmm.
created, so it can't be changed. So by the time that you are designing any solution, you need to identify, okay, this particular entity, it would require a scope of user or team, or it is going under the organization scope. So let's take examples for all of the master information we normally would put there in the organization scope, but for the transactional and where we need to apply the security, we put it under user or a team based scope. So just
Yeah,
like a one
that makes
addition.
sense. Yes, you cannot change it later. That's correct. And this is a very early decision that you should make. As I said, for this example, actually I can choose it as an organization because it's a more of a master data, right? It's a list of plans. Everybody can see it. There is no ownership to it. But for sake of our example, because I want to show what kind of fields will be created, so I am selecting it as user or team. Okay, then you can go ahead and select a particular image that will be shown as an icon to your record. Let's say if you're creating a city, you can choose map or something, I mean, just to help user or make it more convenient. But again, I will cover this later once we work on the web resources, because we need to upload the image as a web resource. Okay, you can choose a color that also helps you identify the icons and some colors. That's okay, I'll just leave it. Okay, there are some other settings. There are actually a lot of configurations here. One is apply duplicate detection. If I click on this, this will by default duplicate detection rules on this, enable it. So this means you might not able to create records with the same name. I'll just give you an example. You can update the duplicate detection rules, but again, it's again a full topic that we can't cover. Audit changes means if I check this one, actually I will check this one for this example because I want to know if anyone changes anything in the plan, I want to audit it. So let's say if anyone state changed the expiry date, I want to know when it was changed and who was changed. So I will have records that it was changed on this date by this user. So this will help me to, troubleshoot if any issue happens. Okay. This track changes is more used in the integrations. So this has will have some kind of key signature row signature that will help you to identify which records are changed. So you can only take the incremental changes. Again, an advanced topic. Knowledge management. As Anand showed you some of the features from KBR to knowledge base articles. If you check this, this will be selected. Again, not relevant to today's topic. Okay. Then, if you want to apply some custom helping URL, if you have your own helping system or some kind of CMS where you upload your help articles, you can link it with that. Again, not for today. Okay, quick create. If you want users to create it on this using this plus icon, you can do that. You have to check this option, otherwise it won't show up here. So for this, I won't because it doesn't make sense for me. Okay, for this example. Okay, rest again. There are many more options like connections. These are like full topics that I guess we should cover in a separate section. One thing, if you want them this table to link with the SharePoint library, you need to select this option. So I will just keep the default options. More important, primary column. I showed you that anything other than primary ID key is important is the primary name for primary field, primary name field. So here, for example, this one is a primary name field. So once I click on it, it opens the related record. Here also, I am on the account, but if I click on this one, so this one is show opens the primary contact. So whatever field is this, whatever value is there, that will show as a hyperlink it in other views and forms or related records. So name seems to be fine because I'm creating a plan, so plan name is fine. If I want, I can show it as a plan name also. That's not a problem. Okay, I can change it. Again, this can only be a text and you can change the character count if you want, but this will always be a text. Okay, I'm okay with 100, so I'll click on save. Okay, now what happens? The platform, what it will do is it will create a table for you by default with some system attributes. These are the attributes you cannot delete. Yes, you can update some of their settings like length, but you cannot delete those. It will also create default or system views and forms for you. This is by default created. You cannot change this behavior, and this is to help you. This is where you get, okay. Once I click on the plan, you see there will be some columns already created. You see these are standard columns already created, right? So what are these created by? This will be the user who created on, then who modified it, when it was modified, who is the owner because we chose it as a user or team ownership, who is the owning team or business unit, who is the owning user, then the primary key of this particular table, then the primary name column, then status. These are fields that you will always find whenever you create a new table. Okay, that's one. Then I go to views. Okay, there are no views. Good. There will be no forms by default. Okay, let me save this column first. Or let's do one thing. Based on our scenario, we wanted to. Okay, first of all, first thing first. I need a description column here, so you can add a description column. I'll do this quickly now. Any questions you can ask me. This will be a text. Actually, it will be a multi-line text, so it shows us. This is an optional field. I am okay with the default length and everything. Let's click on done. I'll add another field called. Hey guys, I add effective date. Select it as a date here. This is date only. I'll keep the default options. Done. Another expiry date. Okay. I will click on again the date only, sorry, and done. These are the fields that for now I need. That's it. Okay. Now, once these fields are added, we need to work on a form. Okay. So these are the default forms which will be available. I don't know why these were not there. Okay, fine. So these at least three forms you will get, one default for your main type, one for your quick view form, another as a card. You see the fourth form is not there because we did not select it as a quick create. If we did, there will be a quick create form also. Okay, I need to go back, sorry, my bad. Okay, so what we'll do is instead of adding a new form, we'll open up the main form, which is by default created by the system. It will have very limited fields available because it's a new table. You will see it will have just few name and honor and basic information. Okay, it has name and honor, right? Even there is nothing in the header, there is nothing in the footer. So first thing we do is we say plan name. Fine, this is okay. Then we need few more fields to quickly add. We need description. We'll show description here. This is very simple, so I'll go ahead and show like this. Okay, I can go ahead and change the form field height to, let's say, 4, a bit wide because it is uh, a multi-line text field, so it makes more sense. Okay, then I can do actually one more thing. I can go ahead and say this is one column. Fine, I'll select the tab, and tab I will select as two columns. Okay, the first one I'll show plan and description. Here in this section I will show effective date and expiry date. Why? I think I need to select it. Effective date, guys, come on, let me allow. Yeah, I think now it should work. There is some issue. Okay, section name, and 1 second. I think I need to refresh. This is stuck somewhere. Okay, I'll add. Sorry, I think I need to add. Sorry, my bad. So, okay, one thing we'll also see today is in the layout, you can add multiple tabs, which you see like general and details. We can add multiple sections like this. Okay, then spacers. Let's say if you want a space between this and this field, just an empty space, you can do that because there is no other way to do this. So this is one. Okay, then there are some interesting controls that you can do. See, like you can add a rich text editor field. You can add star rating kind of controls, which are out of the box available. Then input number, like if you are plus minus kind of control you want to show. Then toggle radio button on the back end, it will be a flag like two options. It will be a boolean field. Then business card control is available. Then there are some other controls also like timeline and subgrades, quick view. These kind of controls are also available that we can see right now. But for now, let's skip it. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll simply add one more one column section here. I think there is some issue. I don't know why it's playing like this. Okay, for now, man, I know the time is less. So I'll drag and drop effective start and expiry date here for now. Okay, this is done. Next step, let's update the view also. Okay. So similarly, like forms, we have type of views also. So there are multiple type of views. We'll see here. By default, you will get public view, which is default view. Mostly it is known as active and your table name like active plans. Then all the public views you cannot delete, but you can modify what to show there and what not to show there. Okay, advanced find view is a different kind of view, which we'll cover later. Associated and lookup view I'll show you in a minute, then you will understand better. So again, we have some type of views which are used in different places. Again, main we use as public view. Okay, I will go ahead in the active plans view. And this is very simple. You can simply add more fields to this, add any filters if you want to, like where conditions, and save it. So right now it only shows plan name. I will say please also add the effective date here and also add the expiry date. And please move here the plan name. Okay. And sort A to Z course. That makes more sense to me. Okay, done. Okay, if I want, I can also add any filter. Like if I want to show plan named premium, I can do that. I can go ahead and add conditions. I'll save it for any other session for now. So this is how you update a view. Similarly, you can create more views. Again, you will add fields and filters. So whatever you want to show. So filter will filter the records you want to show in that view. For example, if you only want to show gold customers, you will add a filter so only the gold will show. And you can select what columns should be displayed here. Okay, this is saved. Now I'll go ahead and try to publish the solution. And let's see how much time it will take. Okay, this one, because it's a new entity, it will not show up in your navigation at all because we have not added anything there. So for now, once it is published, what we can do is if you click on this funnel icon in the advanced find, this is again also one interesting topic we should cover sometime. Advanced find. So advanced find is something that will it's more of a query tool for you. I think we showed it in one of the sessions where you can select which table you want to see and what you apply filters and you see all the records of that particular table or even related tables also. Okay, so the publishing is done. Now advanced find wants to take some time. Just click again. Okay, so do we see a plan? Yes, we see plans here. And if I click on results, this should be empty. But if I click on new plan, you see it should show all the basic things. But I don't have permissions. I know why. Because this is not added to this application. Okay. Now we have no other way. We need to add this to this particular app. So what we do, whenever you create a new table, just go ahead. If you're using Sales Hub app or whatever app you're using, click on edit. It's very simple again. What we will do is we will go ahead in entities, click here on entities, we search plan, it's there, right? I just check it and the plan will be added here on the can we call it a canvas by the way. And on the canvas I can search now plan is there, yes it's there, where it is shown. So we are by default going to select all the form, but if you want you can only select whatever you want to show here. That's the beauty of the modular apps. So let's say if you're creating for a specific department and you want to show them only one form. So without any code or something, you can only select that form. So they will only see one form or one view or so on. So for now, for our example, this makes sense like this. Okay. One more thing we'll do is now we will one is to add it in the app. Other is we want to show it somewhere here in the navigation, right? So what we can do is we can click on the sitemap. Okay. So first save the changes. So sitemap, if you have a little development experience, you know is any navigation. We call it sitemap, right? So I click on the sitemap. So this is all the options you see there. So for now, what I can do is these are known as areas, sub areas, groups and subgroups, right? Yes. So there is an area there called sales. Then we have app settings and so on. So what we'll do is I will add it in the sales for now. So I go ahead and in the sales, I say I click on the sales and say add. I can, instead of adding a new area, I can if I want to, but I will do a sub area. So sub area is your can point either to a URL or an entity. So what we'll do is, or a dashboard, right? We'll cover this again later once we work on dashboards and web sources. But let's say if you want to show any external website here, you can select it as a URL and give the URL. For now, I'll go ahead and select entity. What is my entity name? Plan. That's it. I'll just use the default settings now. All right, let's say this is plan and save. So this will save the sitemap. Actually, I'll just move it here. It makes more sense in the customers. Save. See how easy it is, and then publish. Okay, once it is published, I think I also need to publish the app because I've added one table. It's always good to validate, but just save time. So validate does if anything is invalid, any process or anything, it will throw you error before publishing. But again, we'll cover it later. Because that will also take some time, so I don't want to, make you guys wait. So okay, first thing first, I refresh this and now I should have something called plans here. You see, by default, this is the custom entity icon, but again, we can update this icon. We'll cover this later. So I go ahead in the plan. Now you have all the basic functionalities here. I can go ahead and save a new plan called, let's say, Prime members. Prime accounts. Okay, I can select an effective date. Let's say this starts from today till next year, maybe Feb or Jan, right? Similarly, I can add more records if I want to. Okay, that's one. One part of our scenario is we should able to assign this member to an account. So we'll do that quickly also, then we can close the session. Okay, so first thing first, I go back to my solution. Okay, now what I need to do is I want to first of all create a relationship of this table with the account so I can relate it with the account. So what I want is once I go to any account, let me open up any account. Okay, I want to select, let's say we'll use this form just for simplicity. Like a parent account, we have a lookup. This means you can have many to one relationship here, which means for one parent account, we can have multiple child accounts. So from this entity, this will be many, this is many account, and the parent is the parent account, right? Similarly, we'll add it like many accounts can have one plan or one plan can have multiple plans. So this is again your database concept. So I'm going to create one many to one relationship. Many to one relationship is also known as a lookup. So there are two ways to do this. One is we go to the relationships, we say add a relationship and we select the type of it, many to one. Okay. What I will do is I can say actually this is, yeah, this is fine. This is many to one, right? So my this table, no, this is not correct. I want reverse of it actually. Plan should be one, the account should be many. So what I can do is I can go ahead and say one to many. So plan will have one record, but against one plan I can have multiple accounts. So I'll just select account. I will set up what is the lookup column display name. I can change it if I want to. I can set some of the behaviors. This I will cover later, but just to know if these are known as referential and parental, which means if I select the parental, once I delete the parent account, the child will also be deleted. If it is referential, nothing will happen. Custom, I'll leave it for another uh, time. So that's one thing. Once I create it, it is done. I can save the table. So what it will do behind the scenes, it will create a foreign key of plan in the account table. That's it. So it will create the physical table relationship in the backend. Okay, this takes a while. I'll go back here and I'll say publish. Let it publish. Okay, we won't able to see this on the account yet because we have not added this lookup to the form. So the last step is we go ahead and add it to the account.
Just a point, Bahal here.
Yeah.
If we add the direct lookup, so definitely it will
Yes.
create a relationship. So in
Yes.
either way, the
Yes, I
relationship
will
will be
show that
whether you
actually. I
can
wanted
create
to show
the.
that. I'll do
Hmm.
that also. I wanted to show that, but I said first let's cover this and I'll go back. Okay, that's why I said there are two ways to do this. Okay, so this is our subscription module. I can go ahead and I'll use the best practice, which is I'll add the. Okay, sorry guys. I already have a account. Oh wow, yes, good. So you see, as soon as I added a relationship, by default, system automatically included account. Why? Because I referred it. So why the system do this? Once export this and import it any other external or any other environment, it will make sure the both of the components are there. Otherwise, it will have dependency issues. Okay, I open and go here, go to the account. I will also add one thing here. Okay, another way of doing this is I go ahead in the column. I say plan. I won't do it, or let's say plan two. It doesn't stop me to do this. I just wanted to show you. I go ahead and sorry, select the type to a lookup, which is same thing. I'll just select the related table, which is the parent table. I can go ahead and select the plan here from the long list MNOP. MNOP. Okay, this will do the same thing if you done. So this is another way of adding it, which is a quick way, right? But again, it's the same thing. So I can add a lookup of a parent table on the current entity, which is account. It does the same thing which we did. Okay. Now, because it is all see the field is already added in the account. This is a foreign key. It's known as lookup. Next thing which I'll do is I'll just quickly go ahead and add a subcomponent, a form to show it to you. So which form we want, guys? We want account simplified, or actually we created a very simple form. I want to stick with that. Account main form. Yes. Okay. Sorry. Forms. This, and I will just drag and drop the lookup field. Okay. Here we go. I'll just say show me custom fields, and here is the plan. Okay, I'll show it here also. Let's say. Okay, that's it. Now I can say save, and I can do a publish also. I hope this reflects soon, otherwise I will publish the whole solution again. Guys, okay. Let's refresh and see. Yes, we have it. See, now I can select a plan here. I can also create a new plan. Uh, There are other ways to select it, like this is a lookup. If you have multiple records and you want to search, imagine if you have hundreds of plans, so I can go ahead and search for it and assign it. So just to tell you, this is called a lookup view. By the way, you see there were multiple view types. There is a special kind of view where you, if you want to, let's say, add a new column here, let's say start and end date of the plan, you can do that. You have to update this lookup view, right? For now I'll just skip it, I'll just select or done. I can also do a normal search, like I say prime, it should search for me and give it to me. So this is how we associate. Okay, tier is required. Okay, man. Bye. Okay, so now if I navigate to the accounts, you see it will have child accounts in the related sections here. As many as I have, I can see. So I can see in one window how many plans accounts are associated with the prime members plan. I can also add a subgrid here, but I guess I already exceeded the time for half an hour. So Adnan, I think we again need more time for this because there are too many things we need to cover. So should we wrap up today? With the take, we'll take some questions and wrap up today, and we'll plan it again in some upcoming sessions.
Yeah, incoming
So we'll actually
session we
carry
can plan on
forward. We
Thursday.
need to,
Yes.
yeah. So but on the Thursday we'll do the views and subgrid and special controls, then some business rules, and actually then you'll be good to go. I mean, then you should practice, I would say. Of course, we'll cover the advanced features also, or advanced customizations like plugins and processes also, but that won't help if you have no clue on the basics. Okay, then
Sounds
over to
okay.
you. Yeah, over to you, and we will take the questions if any we have. Sorry guys, again, I don't
Yes.
want it to take this much time, but some basic features we need to cover. So I hope you have some basic idea now how you can create tables, relate tables. Of course, there are other type of relations also which I've kept in the scenario for next exercise. So we'll cover those also.
Sound perfect. So for today's take home, we spoke about the solution and also how he had well explained about the tables and the fields and the forms and the views. And there are some additional, you can say, the learning sources. I mentioned it here, so you can have a look on it, and definitely you will get more details on the features. So now the things comes here about the feedback of the today's session. There are some question I would like to ask you, and in between, if you have any question, you can also unmute yourself or you can place on the chat box. First question related to the practice. Did you start practice on Dynamics 365 or not? Or why do I need to practice? So we'll wait for the response and see. Already started or no? So we can see there is a person, there is a participant who didn't started yet. So we have to put some assignment on the next time. Okay. So how do you rate today's session? We know this pure technical, but definitely we are pleased if you can share your feedback about the session. And the last but not the least, what did you learn today? So just like a recap. Okay. So I think we have put maximum things, maximum you can feedback. Now, what we are going to do to this week as well as the upcoming weeks, next session it will be, or it's already scheduled because I already sent the meeting invite for this Thursday, and in which we will also try to cover whatever we have left for today's session. We will also include and we will also talk about some additional, you can say, the component. And again, these are the necessary component, or you can consider it as a mandatory about the web resources, business rules, extending using the JavaScript as well as the PCF control. So next session will again it will be a pure technical and it will be a, you can say, great to learn about it. And Next week, what we are going to do, we are just going to set up three sessions specifically on Urdu Hindi language to just recap everything in Urdu for the sales management as well as for the customer management. And we will take a break for the technical for next week, and we will continue our technical session after you can say finishing off our next week's agenda, and it will help you whatever you are going to uh, learning in terms of the technical aspect. You will be continued, and definitely by the time that we are going to resume our development part with you can say additional topics, it will also help you to just cater all the requirements, and you will be 100% fulfilled with all the prerequisites which are there. Okay, so we can conclude our session for today on a good note, and really appreciate once again and speak to you on Thursday. May God bless you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.